And at number 10, QUILLS. For years since the release of the Sonic games, the character was known as a hedgehog. However, many fans just assumed the character had fur due to the graphics of the game. At the time, the rendering capabilities for video game developers couldn't show the quills properly. Now that we're in the phase of seeing Sonic in live action, there are new rules to the game. Several times throughout the trailer, we see James Marsden and Jim Carrey's character show that the quills are real. I guess we'll all just have to face the fact that Sonic sheds quills and not fur. And at number 9, the warp ring. Many people will see those gold rings and see them as nothing more than life-saving game collectibles. But as you can see in the trailer, they are much more than that. The trailer does a terrific job of showing that these rings hold the power to travel into different worlds. There's even a specific part of the trailer that shows Sonic tossing a ring out that quickly transforms into a large portal meant to save his new human friends. These portals are known as warp rings and made appearances in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series as well as some spin-offs published by Archie Comics. The warp ring allows for intercontinental travel, quick escapes from enemies, and if it's holding enough charge can actually transport people between alternate zones and Sonic's world. And at number 8, Genesis. During the trailer, they dropped the main tagline, "Every hero has a Genesis." This is a direct callback that many hardcore Sonic the Hedgehog fans will recognize as a nod to the OG of gaming consoles, the Sega Genesis. The first Sonic game, also referred to as Sonic 1, was released in June of 1991 and came out exclusively for the Sega Genesis. And at number 7, Phone Home. In the trailer, we get a quick hint that Sonic the Hedgehog is actually an alien in the live action film when he drops the line, "Looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet." This movie marks the first time in Sonic history that it's explicitly said that Sonic is from a different planet. This leaves some unanswered questions as to whether or not Sonic came to Earth on purpose or by jumping through the wrong warp ring. As far as Sega approved backstories go, the history says that Sonic is actually from Nebraska, where he lives with his large extended family. Although this has changed many times. In some previous Sonic games, his home planet was called Mobius, but to confuse you even more, Sonic history also suggests that Mobius could actually be Earth in the future. And at number 6, Robotnik. Now we know that Jim Carrey is playing the Sonic supervillain Robotnik, but in what phase we didn't know. Turns out this will also be a story of the growth for Robotnik's character. In the intro we see him wearing a more sleek outfit with a black coat, but later in the trailer he changes to his trademark goggles and red jacket. In the final shots we see the last and most recognizable form of Robotnik with the bald head, same goggles and jacket along with his large twirled mustache. And at number 5, Mushroom Hill. Since we're already talking about the ending of the trailer, I'll also mention a sweet little Easter egg to the classic Mushroom Hill zone level. When we see Robotnik in his final form, staring at a vial, very happy with his life choices, behind him is a field of giant mushrooms. This adds more confirmation that those warp rings will be taking us as an audience to some strange, out of this world places, and to some classic Sonic the Hedgehog levels. And at number 4, Green Hill Zone. During the opening sequence of the trailer, we see a police officer played by James Marsden parked on the side of the road behind a sign that reads, "Welcome to Green Hill, the little town with a big heart." This is an Easter egg for a recurring level in the Sonic franchise known as the Green Hill Zone. It's well known for being one of the most famous and iconic video game levels in history, and for many Sonic fans it was their first exposure to the game itself. As I mentioned in Sonic lore, his hometown is Nebraska, and according to an internal design document made by the original localization team, it was revealed that the Green Hill Zone exists in Hardy, Nebraska. And at number 3, the Commander. After Sonic breaks some new speed records in the desert, we see the direct result is much of the country losing power. The trailer then turns to Commander Walters sitting at the Pentagon with some other military officials discussing who could solve their hedgehog problems. The reason why he suggests Robotnik is a nod to the Commander's history in the Sonic series. During the Commander's childhood in the game history, he and his family lived aboard the Space Colony Ark, where he becomes friends with Maria Robotnik after witnessing the creation of Shadow the Hedgehog. This is perhaps why the Commander knows the only way to defeat Sonic is by enlisting the help of a Robotnik. As to the role he'll play in the live action film, well, we'll have to find out. And at number 2, 760 miles per hour. When the trailer opens with Officer Tom Wachowski waiting to pull over some drivers going a little too fast, he's shocked to see his radar gun clocking in something at 760 miles per hour. Sonic's speed does cause a break in the sound barrier, which is strange given the fact that to break the sound barrier means going just 7 miles per hour faster. Now, just because this is a trailer doesn't mean that Sonic is at his top speed. In some previous games games he's been able to reach speeds upwards of 1,000 miles per hour, with other games showing that he can hit 2,000 with no issues. The biggest clue that this movie will show Sonic discovering his speed potential comes when he's faced with all of those rockets. It's a pretty stark contrast though to see him go from not being able to avoid a tranquilizer dart to rocketing past the cops at 760 miles per hour. Lastly, in our number 1 spot, shoe collection. I'm guessing the reason why so many people can't put their finger on why exactly they don't like this Sonic could be due to the changes of his character. Typically in the games his arms are skin color, but in the live action they decided to go full blue on everything. The one thing they did keep intact is his trademark red shoes. The trailer has a great pan by shot displaying a pile of worn out running shoes which we're guessing Sonic was testing out. However, when you see him stretching holding that red shoe, it's a perfect moment that brings back all of the nostalgia from the series.
Starting us off in at number 10, load screen. The Sega Genesis is a 16-bit console developed by Sega and released in North America in 1989. This was Sega's third console and the successor to the Master System. However, even with only their third console, they made a mark in the gaming community with one hell of a memorable opening screen. The beautiful thing is that in the movie, they didn't shy away from this either. After the Paramount logo that had replaced all the stars with rings had been shown, we got treated to a memorable sight with a Sega screen. Under the logo you obviously heard the music, but you could also faintly hear the iconic word of Sega underneath the logo as well, which is an amazing callback to something that so many audience members will remember. Let it be known that everyone in the audience last night was an adult. There were no kids in that theater. Sure, it might have been late, but it just shows who the audience was for that movie, and why changing the CGI was so important to the movie, because we wouldn't have tolerated it. In at 9, cinematic universe. Following the Sega logo, however, we were reminded that it was an original movie, but the way they did that was in an eerily similar vein to something we've all been obsessing over for the better part of 10 years. That has sparked several other attempts at something so massive. See how the studio's part of that logo just kinda comes out between those lines? Well, the original movie logo for this film looked pretty similar. It was coming out between the lines but horizontally instead of vertically, perhaps setting up a Smash cinematic universe, which I will get to later in this list, be patient. With another Easter egg I think will blow your mind. But with the similarities between the logos, I can't help but think that they knew what they were doing, and you heard it here first. If they end up doing it, you know from me that they've been hinting at it from the start. And at 8 generations. While we never really see the two running side by side, the Sonic Generations game was referenced right at the beginning of the movie. The clip we see in the trailer of adult Sonic running in his homeworld was never actually on screen. In fact, it was replaced by a baby version of Sonic being told to hide his powers. However, this baby version of Sonic is A, not cuter than Baby Yoda, not cuter than Donkey, I don't know what the hell everyone in the theater was thinking during time play, and B, very similar to the baby Sonic we see in Sonic Generations as well as in the earlier Sonic games, since you all love to point out that he's actually aged, unlike some other people. Ash. The baby Sonic looks incredible and is as close to the original Sonic as we can get with what they're doing with this design on the big screen. Also, can I just say, do you know how terrifying this baby would have been if they had kept the original design? I would have ran out screaming. God! This is why I think it was all just a stunt, because they wouldn't have done that to Baby Sonic. And it's 7 chili dogs. The chili dog is one iconic food item from the Sonic canon, being best known as Sonic's favorite food. While at first I thought that Tom's dog would have been called Chili, or that Sonic would have become best friends with him and that would have been the reference, the actual chili dog scene comes when the guys get into a bar fight. Yeah, and the fact that that was on Sonic's bucket list is just weird, but okay. After he was about to get jumped on, see what I did there, Sonic goes into super speed and has a Quicksilver or flash time moment where he basically wrecks everyone in the bar, but while doing so he knocks several chili dogs into the air and decides he needs a little snack. So he eats like all 5 chili dogs and proceeds to end his montage. After this, Donut Lord and Sonic head to the motel where Sonic describes how he had a delicious food that he thinks was called chili dogs. How do you know what they were called? Nobody said it and nobody mentioned it up until that point unless it was in a deleted scene. I suppose you could guess based off the menu, but then you'd have to know what chili and what hot dogs are, and you didn't seem that well versed in human food, but whatever. In at 6, Badniks. During the scenes that were actually in the trailer where Robotnik ends up getting Sonic's quill, he ends up running tests on it later in the movie. The issues that come from this, however, end up causing his truck to lose power. When he goes to reset the power, you see essentially his fuse panel or breaker box, where he has things listed as what they are with masking tape, which is a little weird for someone who is so damn cocky about being smarter than everyone else. Like, why didn't you just have it like an LED screen? What? One of the pieces of tape ended up saying Badniks. It was at the top of the screen, so you may not have seen it, but if you are unsure what that means, the Badniks are Robotnik's robots that were originally powered by living animals as a form of live battery. Sonic, after breaking these robots, would free the animals, providing him with incentive in his first games. What this could potentially mean is that this version of Robotnik has already passed the point of living batteries, but he had used them in the past and has them at his disposal, so maybe we'll be seeing it if there's a sequel. Halfway through at number 5, Team Sonic Racing. We knew Sonic was going to be driving in the movie, however what we didn't know was that Tom was going to be leaning out the back all Mario Kart style and swinging at the Robotnik robots during the truck chase sequence. While this may not parallel perfectly to Team Sonic Racing, I'm sure we can all agree that this is what this scene was intended to mimic. Sure, you can say that they were just showing Tom putting his life in Sonic's hands, but that's what he was doing the whole movie, especially when he kicked them off of a building. So this is definitely Team Sonic Racing and there's no way you can fight me on it. It just sucks that Sonic was only learning to drive while actually driving and reading the manual. I guess he hadn't gotten to the part about distracted driving. In at 4, Pinball. At the climax of the movie, the final battle between Eggman and Sonic, there was a scene that was very similar to MCU Thor and Arrowverse Flash with a little bit of discount Super Sonic thrown into the mix. Then we get Sonic absolutely pounding the hell out of Robotnik's ship. He would smash it, then bounce off a building, then come back, then swing around a lamppost and hit him again, and kept doing similar things until he was finally weak enough. But the overhead shot we got looked like Sonic was basically a supersonic pinball. The Blue Devil was bouncing off everything, essentially letting himself be at the will of gravity, but also controlling where he was going because he can do that with super speed because duh. It was very subtle and you could have potentially missed it if you weren't looking for the reference like I was, but that also could mean that it wasn't really a reference, I was just looking for it, but you should believe me. And at 2, Tails. The end credit sequence was something not many people stuck around for when I was there last night. They only watched until the Speed Me Up song came on, then they left because nobody can handle 4 16-bit rappers. Joking aside, obviously none of them were Marvel fans or saw the leaks online, which you all in the comments of previous videos were so nice to point out, spoiling this part for me. But it's all in the past now. Tails arrives at the end of the movie with a mission, saying that he's tracked him down and needs to find him. Why is he playing the pronoun game? Well, we don't know. We assume that he's talking about Sonic, but we can't really be sure. Perhaps Knuckles is hiding in this world, or Vector will be the next villain and Tails is trying to find him. Whoever he's after, we don't really know, but we can assume it's Sonic. Tails was there and that's what made everyone happy in the theater. That's the only thing that made them happy, in all honesty. Except for me. What made me happy is, and at number 1, Sonic. This is what made me ecstatic. Aside from a meow still being included, yes it was, the character being called Crazy Carl is rambling on to the people of Green Hills. Yes, that's the name of the town, but a fairly obvious Easter egg that you could have noticed. But if you didn't, there's a bonus. About a mysterious blue devil that has been torturing him at night, running around him as a blue blur and even talking to him as he calls out that he will catch him one day, and that he knows he is real. Sonic responds to this with, "No, I'm not." While he's rambling worse than Heimsker, he shows an image he drew of the blue devil, and look at that, it is none other than the iconic drawing of Sonic from the video How to Draw Sonic Hedgehog that was released so many years ago. If you want more info on that meme, you should check out the top 10 Sonic memes that should be in the movie, where I said this had to be in it, and it was. I'm proud I was able to predict that, and I mean, like, a few others got it right too, and I got a few others right, like Sonic was depressed, he and other characters said gotta go fast, and I mean the picture of Sonic was a drawing, but if only someone bought it for 10 million. In at 10, Just a Theory. On May 8th, 2018, the YouTube channel The Game Theorist released a theory asking if Sonic would be able to survive his own speed, and while running may not hurt him, the stopping and turning on his heels would in all honesty do nothing. However, he could potentially tear his ACL, unless he is running at the speed of sound, which causes him to not ruin only his legs, but every other bone in his body. This could have been referenced in the movie, considering how this video has nearly 7 million views, and the previous theory regarding Sonic had nearly 9 million views. I figure it could be possible. YouTube user Nancy Chapman pointed out in the comments of the last part that when Robotnik says, "Sonic, stop going fast, it's bad for your joints," someone's already proved it. During the chase scene that is shown at the beginning of the movie that they cut off and then revisit later in the movie, they actually could have been referencing this video because that's what MatPat originally set out to prove. It's a bit of a stretch and that's not really what MatPat ended up proving, but I think that the possibility of a movie we have all seen referenced a YouTube creator is something that we should hope for, because it means that we have a bigger impact on the community than we know. I mean, it's not solid proof that that's what they reference, but I mean, it's just a theory. And at 9 Hilltop Road, this one was harder to miss and several people pointed it out in the last part, but when Sonic is in his original cave on Earth, he does various things like reading Flash comics and literally being a hedgehog with the washing machine being the wheel. But he also plays ping pong or table tennis, whatever you want to call it, with himself on a makeshift table. The net is made of soda cans and the sign that makes up the table comes from the highway. It's an exit sign for Hilltop Road, and fans of the series may recognize this as the 5th zone in the second Sonic game. Of course the sign doesn't say zone, it says road, because the only types of zones we have are residential, business, and factory. Well, at least that's what I learned from City Skylines. Despite having the road label, fans picked up on it quickly, as it is one of the more popular levels due to its distinct design. So that's pretty dope. And at 8, emails. When Tom arrives at Maddie's sister's house, he walks in with Sonic under a blanket because, you know, he's an anthropomorphized alien hedgehog. However, since literally no one knows this but Tom and the viewer, we get some old references that are more so tailored to fans of the 2016 US election. The sister asks what's under the blanket, specifying plutonium or emails. Obviously, this is a reference to Hillary Clinton's emails that were accessed during the 2016 United States presidential election. And while it could be confusing as to why this is the case, perhaps it's the sister ripping on Tom some more, or just an indication about how long the script was in the works. And if that's the case, I'm surprised this actually got made, even if it was delayed. Or maybe it's just a joke for the dads who didn't want to come but their kids dragged them there and, you know, they couldn't really care less, so you throw that in there. That one's for the dads. And at 7, Vroom Vroom. The best number. While last part I mentioned Team Sonic Racing, this isn't what it was about. I was going to bring up Sonic's race car bed during that point, but the script was already pretty long so I left it out. But I'm sure if I did, you'd all let me know in the comments that it's actually a reference to the comics. The Sonic comics that were recently ended had Sonic sleeping in a race car bed for what seemed like forever. There are even other race car beds that are intended to look similar to Sonic's without being a total recreation to prevent copyright infringement, like when you see a kid's costume that says Green Woodland Adventurer instead of Link, or Red Italian Olympic Jumping Plumber for Mario. You know, crazy stuff like that. Well, at the time I did think it was a reference to Team Sonic Racing. I have been corrected multiple times, but I'll get to the other one later on. You know what it is. And at 6, Sonic's logo. Sonic doesn't wear clothes. He only has his gloves and shoes, but sometimes he dons some headwear. At the beginning and later at the end, Sonic wears a cowboy hat, and yes, he wears clothes at the bar, but I just want to talk about his headband. When Sonic is taking the viewer around his cave, he mentions he has a state-of-the-art security system, then he swings nunchucks all around like Bruce Lee, while wearing a headband with a very familiar looking design. The logo on the band is identical to that of the original game, just missing Sonic popping through, but this could easily be replaced by the fact that Sonic is wearing the headband. So there you go, a small reference I didn't see anyone mention in the last part, but also something that was pretty cool. It's also missing the Sega text, but that should be expected. You can't really put Sega in the movie. Halfway through at number 5, Extra Life. During the highway truck chase scene, we are served the also innocent line of "Guess I had a bonus life" after Sonic spin dashes into Robotnik's first truck. This is obviously a reference to the games and any game really, where you have what feels to be an infinite amount of lives to accomplish your task. However, this line takes on a horribly dark meaning when you think about it. If Sonic has had an extra life, did he think that doing that would kill him? Because from that point on it changes the whole tone of the movie. And literally at that point they were just fighting about Tom not caring about Sonic. So did Sonic think that it would kill him? And did he do it intentionally? He also tells Tom that he had no idea how he's alive, literally the line before. Maybe we did get a depressed Sonic reference after all. More than him just saying that he feels alone while playing baseball. All of you are gonna get mad at me in the comments because I said that Sonic wanted to die, but oh well. And at 4, Balancing Act. During the scene where Sonic and Donut Lord are in the hotel/motel, Tom tells Sonic that he can do whatever he can think of as long as it stays in the room. We see a whole load of Sonic doing various things, while one of them is balancing on the edge of the toilet in the bathroom. While he's doing everything else, if you focus on that scene in the background, you may find what he's doing very familiar. The balancing animation used is the same animation used when he balances on the edge of a cliff in the video games. It may be a small one and it comes and goes quickly. Both the scene and the animation are sped up, but but slowed down, the animations are very similar if not identical. Some websites say that this occurs on the picture frame, however he only grabs onto it and spins around, he doesn't really balance on it. And 3 dropping rings. During the rooftop fight scene, or basically any other scene where Sonic has rings, he ends up dropping them. This is obviously a reference to the fact that Sonic drops rings whenever he gets hit. However, there is a mini Easter egg as well hidden in this scene. When Sonic is frantically trying to get his ring to save Tom and Maddie, when he actually does get it using his quill, the sound that plays is the sound that plays in the games when you pick up rings, since you know he just picked up a ring. But Sonic drops his rings multiple times in the movie, when Tom shoots him, when fighting Robotnik at the end, and one other time where I actually forget. But this is something that happens multiple times and in the exact same way it happens in the games. That's pretty cool. In a 2 Robotnik cameo. Jim Carrey plays Robotnik in this movie, as we all know, but this character has had other actors in the past. No, I'm not referencing the joke I made in the Reasons Why Sonic is going to be the best video game movie ever video when I said that he got replaced with Danny DeVito, but come on, that was a joke. I mean the 1999 animated Sonic Underground series that aired all around the world. The series only lasted for 40 episodes, but Robotnik was voiced by Gary Chalk, who makes his return in the Sonic movie with a live-action cameo. If you already knew who he was, you may have noticed him as the Navy Chief of Staff during the government meeting scene where they discussed bringing in Eggman. He actually voiced other characters in video game movies too. He voiced Dr. Light in Mega Man Fully Charged, and he was a lieutenant in Arrow. The man who voices General Tullius, Michael Hogan, was also there. He was the one who opposed Robotnik right off the bat. One of my personal favorite scenes. And another character from Arrow, Damien Dark, Neil McDonough, who played Major Bennington. If you didn't get the joke. Finally, in at number 1, Mushroom Hills. Okay, I'm gonna take this number to retcon myself, but also explain myself. The whole Sonic movie revolves around Sonic trying to get his rings back so he can go to a mushroom world, which in the last part I noted could be a reference to the Mushroom Kingdom from Mario. There's a train, which in the last part I noted could be a reference to the Mushroom Kingdom from Mario. Y'all hated me for that, since they could be attempting to set up a shared universe, and there is a Mario movie set to come out sometime soon, but y'all didn't like that. Some of you were upset by this, and yes, I did know that it was most likely a reference to the Mushroom Hill Zone from Sonic & Knuckles. So I'm saying it now, that was most likely the reference. I was trying to provide some more in-depth thinking to show you that you shouldn't take everything at face value. My original point was also backed up by the fact that Sonic is constantly complaining about the Mushroom World, which is most likely a reference to his rivalry with Mario. You see where I'm coming from now. Who this could still be a reference to. I'm not taking it back, I'm saying that there is multiple possibilities for this Easter egg, so you can all chill now, my lord.